On this week's Most Craved.
We're talking animation, and we have with us two of the stars of Zootopia and two animation legends here in the studio.
These guys are your childhood.
Hey guys, welcome to Most Craved. I'm Jenna Busch with Legion of Leia.
I'm Silas Lesnick with ComingSoon.net.
And I'm William Bibbiani with CraveOnline. Hey, we've got Maurice LaMarche and JOHN DIMAGGio.
Hello.
Hello.
I like that there's applause.
You go to your IMDb pages, and it's just like the longest list of things ever. But let's run down like just a few. So you were Egon Spangler in Ghostbusters.
That's right.
You were the Brain in Pinky and the Brain.
Indeed, my friend.
You were Bender in Futurama.
Yeah, that's me.
And you were Marcus Phoenix in Gears of War.
Nice.
It is nice.
It is nice.
And now you're in Zootopia, which is like one of the biggest movies of the year. So your royalty checks must be huge.
Well,
Tell us how much money you make. Apparently that's what we're asking
wow,
here.
jeez, right to the heart of the matter. How much money do you make?
Yeah.
You know, listen, I mean, it's
You're
good.
not actually
It's
having
good.
answers.
I know.
You
I
made
was
money?
I made all right. I did
didn't know
okay.
you made money.
I did all right. You do
All
okay?
right. I'm doing all right.
Hey, you got a little something for me?
Yeah, I got a little something for you. Just money.
Thank you.
This is my favorite scene
Bender.
ever.
What is it like when somebody reaches out for Zootopia, for say, clearly they know the range of everything you're capable of. Is there an audition process, or is it just, we know you guys can do any voice?
Luckily, we knew the director.
Yeah, that's right. Work as hard as you can,
and
then like your friends call you.
No, but this is.
But
this
it's
is,
true.
This is true. Listen, these are the perennials that we have grown in our careers.
Yeah.
That come back to us. Rich Moore directed many an episode of Futurama. Worked at Rough Draft Studios, and now he's at Disney doing shows. I mean, like, and he called me up to do something in Wreck-It Ralph. And so, he called, when he called me to do Zootopia, I was totally game. I was really excited. Anything that he does kind of touches comedy gold and is really a special project. And, explain to me what the story was. And I was lucky enough not only to do Jerry Jumbo, but a couple of other incidental characters here and there, like both of the Rams at the, towards the end of the film, like you meet them. And, it's just that. And yes, when you get the phone call to be like, we want you to come in, that's because of previous work, and it's really nice. But by all means, I still have to audition for a lot of things.
Oh, most things.
Most things.
In the case of Zootopia, though, that was the same thing. I go even a little farther back than John. I go back to The Critic with Rich Moore, and so. So Rich really knows what I could do, and he remembered that I did, a couple of different Brando things on both seasons of The Critic, and he actually called me up just on my cell phone and said, "Hey man, you do a Brando thing, right?" And I go, "Yeah." He goes, "Great, you'll get a call from your agent in a couple of days. Got something for you in our new film." And so, came in and I just sat down, and he didn't even tell me it was, that it was he was a 3-inch tall Arctic shrew until the second session. So I just sat down and did my best. Brando as Godfather thing, and this was what it was a sort of a little tribute to, but yeah. So in this case, it was one of those things where you work with somebody and they remember you, and this is why you always be on your best behavior and give your best, put your best foot forward always,
Yeah,
no matter what you're
and
working
he also knew that I was really good at playing racist elephants. So
Right.
Good.
that helped.
It's a skill.
Get in the door.
That
So work on your racist elephants.
there you go. Right.
I'm usually really good at not geeking out when we have guests, but I forgot for a moment that you were on The Critic, and that's one of the reasons why I do what I do.
Really?
Is that show. I love that show.
Oh, that's great.
Were you Brando in Apocalypse Wow with the musical number?
I
where
was
you had
Brando in
egg holes your
everything.
pants?
I did
Oh
all
my
the
God,
Brando.
That was the coolest. All right, I'm done.
My favorite was Mrs. K's frozen peas.
Yes.
Rosebud frozen
It was
peas.
Rosebud frozen peas. It was Mrs. Pell's fish sticks. They're even better when you're dead. That was the,
That's pretty awesome.
yep. No,
And you did Orson Welles in Ed Wood, which is
Vincent D'Onofrio gave a brilliant on-camera performance. I don't know why I sound like I had a couple of drinky poos before the camera.
Don't tell anyone. We have cocktails.
They have a car service. They have a car service.
Was
Everybody
great
calm down.
in the on-camera part, but the talking part was he made a mistake.
Yeah.
He decided he was going to do a high voice for Orson Welles. I don't know what he was thinking. So, Tim Burton, being an animator and being a fan of both his friend Steven Spielberg and of Pinky and the Brain, just as a viewer, said, "Okay, give me the guy who does the brain," because Vincent was brilliant. He looked great. He did every physicalization of the Orson.
Like him too. Yeah.
But he did this. He did, "How do you do? I'm Orson Welles." And it was just it was a choice and an interesting choice, but it wasn't right for what Burton wanted. So they flew me up to San Francisco. I met Tim Burton. We sat, and we just dubbed the whole thing in one day, and it happened to be my birthday, and it was a nice birthday present. I got to work opposite Johnny Depp without ever meeting him, and make Vincent D'Onofrio pissed off at me for the rest of my life. So.
Wait,
that's one of those movies.
Did you ever actually hear from him?
I've never actually heard, but I have heard through the grapevine that he was not happy with being dubbed by some, cartoon dude. And he actually has made a very good half-hour independent film called 5 Minutes, Mr. Wells, which you can see on YouTube, where he actually does get closer to the Wells voice, and it all takes place in Wells's dressing room before he's about to go and do a play. So go watch that. See, Vincent, I'm trying to help. I'm trying to make up for
to
it.
come clean.
Sending some web traffic your way. I'm sorry. It was a job. They called me. I couldn't say no.
I'll do my Vincent D'Onofrio.
Yeah.
Somebody came in here with a cat. I think I just coughed up my lung.
My face hurts. So we've known each other for a while.
We have.
So I know that sometimes voices just come out when we're talking. How often does that happen with you guys?
All the time.
All the time?
All the time.
I Tourette out whatever feels right at the moment.
Yeah.
I don't understand why it would happen, but yeah.
No, it happens all the time. All the time.
Is there any voice for? I guess this would be an individual thing because it seems like you guys are good at everything. But is there any voice that, for whatever reason, it's not your voice? You can't do it. Like you can't do Don Knotts or something. I don't know.
I can't do Don Knotts.
Can't do kid voices.
Really?
No kid voices.
Kid voices.
Listen to you. I mean, you're almost a basso profundo.
Yeah. Basso profundo.
Oh my!
Excuse me.
Fancy.
Sounds like a Dario Argento film.
At least a true baritone.
Yes, definitely a true baritone. Yeah. You're right there. But that's kid voices. I'm not really.
No, me neither.
I'm not really that good at. But I can get close to something. There's always like an in. There's always an in. If you're doing something like an impersonation, there's always a hook that will get you in. Like one physical thing you do with your voice. Perfect example. Eric Bauza, really wonderful actor and also an animator. Really, really, really great.
And a
guy.
Canadian, if I may say.
Yes, and a Canadian, a Filipino Canadian. Yes. Brilliant. He does. He has these great impressions that he does, and he does Paul Giamatti, and I'm like, Paul Giamatti, man, that's a tough one. I asked him, I said, what's the hook? And he said, you got to try and chew off your shoulder. And I was like, that is it. And if you can physically do something to get you there, then you can run down that long hallway. You know what I mean?
John does the best Tracy Morgan I've ever seen. Yeah. The whole physicalization that happens.
Yeah, but that's for real. I'm serious. I do Tracy Morgan. That's right. He's a friend of mine. Tracy Morgan is my uncle.
Yeah.
But the thing is that the first thing you go for when you do Tracy, at least for me, is the pout.
Yeah.
Look at that face
and
right there.
But you're doing a breathing thing.
Yeah, but he does this. Yeah. He got breathe. He breathes out through his nose. And yeah.
Do you guys develop these techniques like naturally
in the car?
Well, sure.
places.
But I mean, like over
In-
the years, would
in
you go to
your-
classes?
No.
no. This is
No,
all
no
just
classes for
just,
this.
you know, that's the thing. I mean, there
You
really
just have to have a
aren't.
really lonely childhood.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And
Well,
you
I
know,
got that one down.
Yeah,
Entertain
yeah, I got
yourself.
that down too. We all got
And you
that down.
entertain
And
yourself.
exactly.
I did in the mirror.
A lot of mirror work.
And I thought that this kind of stuff would make people like me, and it just kind of made them shun me. But now it makes them pay me.
Yeah, exactly. So it's come full circle.
Exactly right.
Suckers.
Do you remember the first voice you guys each did
What, even professionally or like just as little kids?
as little kids?
Interesting, because we just did an interview where they asked professionally, and the first one as a little kid, there was a commercial, and I predate all you guys, but there was a commercial for Turkish taffy, and with a guy doing sort of an Ed Wood kind of impression. First he smacks it, then he slaps it. That's all. That's how you get a piece of Turkish taffy. And I was 5 years old watching going around going, that's how you get a piece of Turkish taffy. Whoa, da, 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 da. And so, but you know what? Before that was the big dumb dog who was based on Lenny from Mice and Men in the Bugs Bunny cartoons. And I remember being in kindergarten, going to school, going, which way did he go, George? Which way did he go? Also the vulture character, the ba-roop, and I do this with my arms, and my mother would just watch me and go, what were you doing on the way to school?
Yeah.
What's wrong with you? What's wrong with you? I'm going to find out what makes you tick, kid. I'm going to find out. We're going to send you to the school psychologist. I want to know what makes you tick.
The school psychologist? You got sent to the school?
Right to the school psychologist.
Really?
And really all it was I just wanted people to like me.
That's cold-blooded, man.
Yeah, I know.
My first impression was an impression of Billy Crystal's impression of Howard Cosell and Muhammad Ali.
Boy, you set the bar high.
Yeah,
How
I was-
How
I
old were
was
you
over-
for that one?
I don't know. I was like 7 or 8 or something like that. I'm going around going, Muhammad, you have something to say about this fight. I want to know what you think. How will you take care of Joe Frazier?
Everybody talking about Joe Frazier. Everybody talking about Joe Frazier. I'm the greatest of all time. The greatest.
Then I would run around doing that, and I loved it. And then he would do like the spider in the jungle, and I loved that, and it would make people laugh. And then I, because I had older sisters, I had got my hands on George. Yeah, their bras. That's cold.
That's dark.
That's really messed up.
They were, hey, hold up. They were young. They didn't have
No, we're
titties
leaving
yet.
that.
Okay.
Hold on a second. That's really screwed up.
I mentioned I
then it was
read out voices.
yeah,
I also read out
yeah,
the most inappropriate.
yeah.
I didn't have Tourette syndrome. I
That's
just
all right.
had to, so I could say inappropriate stuff.
All
school
apologies to
psychiatrist
those
are
with
making more
Tourette's. Sorry. And then I was listening to, because I had older sisters, I was listening to George Carlin, Class Clown,
Oh, great.
over and over. So that was really perfect for like a 7, 8-year-old kid to know the 7 words that you couldn't say on television. and just, but all
Went
the
over
things
big
like
in the lunchroom, did it?
Yeah. But he had all the Spike Jones stuff like boom, all that stuff, and
Yeah,
so
which
I was,
I'm sure helped you with the intricacies of being a beatboxer.
Oh yeah, that's
we
true.
were sitting with one of the
Yeah.
great beatboxers of all time.
Hey, thank you very much. I'm not bad.
How about the Apollo Theater?
But yeah,
Not bad.
that's true. When I did stand up, we played the Apollo Comedy Hour, and it was at the Apollo, and I met KRS-One, the teacher, and it was really something. Like I beatboxed in the act, but it's all part of the building blocks that make us what we are now. It's funny. This life is kind of long, and different things happen within it. So we've been really fortunate. I've been fortunate. I know Maurice was fortunate too.
What do you guys have like coming up? Because I know sometimes you guys can end up in something kind of like on the fly, like a smaller role. But like, what's like the next thing after like Zootopia? Like movie wise, for example?
All right. Well, there's the thing I just signed an NDA for.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wait. No, there is that other thing I signed an NDA.
Yeah.
So I've got 3 projects actually that I've signed an NDA for, and that's it.
Nice.
I've signed an NDA for this one particular
We
project.
signed an NDA for one thing that we're both in.
Oh.
That thing.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
big table read thing.
That,
we
yeah,
did.
yeah, that thing.
Can't talk about
Can't
that.
talk about that.
Just do the voice and we'll
then
guess.
there's another thing that I just found out that I'm going to do mocap for. Can't talk about it.
Okay.
Then another a movie. Got a phone call about that I'm going to do. Got to. But yeah, things are happening, and it'd be a lot easier if we could say what they were. But unfortunately, the NDA. You
What
have
if we
to
just
sign.
throw out names and you just sort of like get a nervous tick or
No,
something?
no.
I'm actually.
He doesn't say not talking. He says non-disclose. It's very important. Non-disclosure agreement. Anything we might do to disclose.
You can't even watch that Michael
I
Douglas
said
to me more
mocap,
movie.
and I should have maybe even not said mocap. I don't even know.
We won't tell anyone.
I'll tell you what what I wish I was signing an NDA for is a Pinky in the Brain motion picture.
Yes.
Yes.
I would love that if Mr. Spielberg, in his wisdom, said, you know what, it's about time. It's been long enough. The kids that watched Pinky, because I know the kids who watched Pinky in the Brain are all grows up now.
Me?
Yeah, and they've got money and they're ready to go to the movies. But if they do it, they've got to recapture your childhood. Don't recast Pinky in the Brain, Stephen. Put big modern stars around them, but you got to use the original
How
Pinky
could
in the
you
Brain.
recast them?
What were their names?
well,
those
I
two
mean,
guys?
Those two
Bill
guys.
Murray was Garfield. I mean, granted.
But Lorenzo died.
I know, man,
And they
what are you
did a
gonna
whole
do?
riff
But,
on that
like-
in Rick and Morty. But it's it happens to be the way it worked out. First, Lorenzo was Peter Venkman, and then there was this offhand remark, and really, Bill Murray didn't mean to lose him his job or anything. He just said, "Hey, how come Egon's guy sounds like Harold, but my guy sounds like Garfield the cat?" Boom! They jumped out. Lorenzo was out. Dave Coulier was in doing his Bill Murray impression, and they were both terrific and valid. And then poor Lorenzo, they'd been prepping a Garfield 3 CGI motion picture for years and years and years and years. Jim Davis is going to the mattresses going, "I will not let you make this movie unless it's Lorenzo music." And then Lorenzo gets a virulent form of cancer and dies within a few months. And who gets the job but Bill Murray? You know, he's the next most Lorenzo thing going.
Well, I guess
Because
you
they
could've
both
had
had a
Dave
unique
Coulier.
kind of tossed off voice. I love Dave, but
Nah,
it would have been an
that's-
impression.
Yeah.
They both have a unique way of just approaching life in a very laissez-faire kind of way.
Yeah.
Lorenzo and Bill.
Where did your Egon come from? Because it doesn't really sound like Harold
Direct
Ramis.
rip-off of Harold Ramis. It's
Is
just
it
not
really?
a very good Harold Ramis. But it had that sort of glottal kind of pullback, and but I don't come from Chicago. I think Harold's from Chicago, if I'm not mistaken, and I'm a Torontonian. So the regionality was not the same. But I gave it very much the same vocal tension, and this could be extraordinarily bad, Peter.
Yeah.
Don't cross the streams. It would be like all life as you know it, blowing up at the speed of light.
That was the first fictional character as a kid that I latched onto, and my parents gave me a pair of red sunglasses that I would wear because I just thought red glasses were cool.
Oh,
Because
really?
Egon had them.
Thanks.
I wanted Egon's hair. I don't know how it was even physically
And
possible
in
to
the
get
new
that. but, yeah.
Ghostbusters movie, I forget the blonde character, the blonde actress's name.
Kristen Wiig?
No, not Kristen Wiig.
Oh, Kate McKinnon.
Kate McKinnon. They've kind of Egoned up her hair a little bit. They've
Yeah, they
given her
did.
that
They did.
sort of,
Yeah, they did.
that fruit roll-up kind of yellow thing in the middle of her head. And so the fruit roll-up reference, yeah. I think that's a little tip of the hat maybe to the real Ghostbusters.
It totally
I think
is.
this picture's going to be great, by the way. I'm not one of those going, oh, you can't have women
Those
Ghostbusters.
people are jerks.
We did a woman Janine became a Ghostbuster for an
Yes.
episode. So there's already been a woman Ghostbuster.
I wish they'd done
It's going to
more
be
of that.
terrific. It's going to be terrific.
Janine was a great character on that
Yeah.
show for a while. and then they
Melissa's
scaled her
hilarious.
back a bit.
Melissa's hilarious. Kristen's hilarious. I mean, these are
Seasoned
Wonderful.
comedy vets,
Yeah,
these
you
women.
know, it's gonna be
that makes
fine.
me angry when they all go, it's going to suck,
Crazy.
man. It's like, I
Please.
can't stand that.
I
can't stand
had
it.
never
I wish, though, that they would do a Futurama feature.
yeah.
Like a theatrical feature.
A
'cause they-
theatrical
yeah.
feature.
But animated, right?
Animated,
Yeah.
absolutely.
No, live action.
You want it live action?
Fascinating.
That could happen too.
No, I don't want
But
live
then
action.
we wouldn't be able to play a lot of our characters because they'd cast on-camera actors. But we'd still.
No,
You,
animated.
Yeah,
No,
animated.
No, I'm totally kidding. I can't
I
do
know.
live action
No,
Futurama.
No, that would be cool.
And Pinky in the Brain, that's my favorite. So
Oh, thank you, my dear. Thank you so much.
Oh, that's kind of nice.
So what's like a gem of a role that no one thinks of you guys, but you're very proud of that people should check out?
I'm I'm very happy with my take on Victor Fries for the Arkham games. There's a new one coming out, and Arkham Underworld, and I got to take it over. I started out with a very much this kind of a voice, as the voice of a man whose vocal cords have been frozen, and they cast me based on that. And then they thought that they really wanted to do a little more of a tribute to Mike Lancera's character. So I didn't do an impression of Mike Lancera's, but I definitely brought a flatness to him, and it's very difficult to emote when you're doing that flatness, but you have to. It's very important to infuse that with emotion. And when I see the cutscenes from the Arkham games, I go, you know what? You did pretty good. You're not doing a big goofy character there. You're actually acting like a man who's got a big tragedy in his life. He's trying to save his wife, who's hovering between life and death. He just happens to go about it in a criminal way. So I'm proud of that.
You know, I would have to go back to Princess Mononoke.
Yes.
I did many different characters in that. That was Jack Fletcher who directed the English translation of that. Great director, great guy. But I got to play a bunch of different guys, like the old the pig god, like it was that disintegrates, like it's like a wild boar. I got to play the old man in the village. I got to play
We're mini drivers, like
yes,
second
exactly.
hand guy,
Yes, exactly. I played it, and just a bunch of things, but it was just like, it was really young. I was really young in my career then, and to get to play all those different kinds of characters was just a real treat, and it was really fun. And nobody really kind of knows that it was.
Well, and it's sad because it's actually one of my favorite movies.
Yeah?
Like that movie like helped kind of introduce me to Japanese animation in general, but like it was such a brilliant
That's
film.
awesome. Like, you know, remember like we are the last of the Amishi. And like I played this old man, and it was just like the furthest thing from what I normally do, and it was really a lot of fun.
It was a spectacular dub
Oh,
on that one, too.
no.
Usually they were bad in the 90s. It was really good.
That was Jack Fletcher. That was Jack Fletcher.
Fletcher's a
And
tremendous
Jack
director.
Fletcher is a tremendous director, and he's done so many anime translations that have worked really well.
Didn't Neil Gaiman help with that translation as well, I think, with the
might have.
actual text
He
of it?
might have.
Yeah.
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 He
That's
might have.
crazy. It's nuts.
Yeah.
So Zootopia 2?
You
know?
Okay.
Okay.
Sure.
do
Sign me up. Where's Rich
Nothing
Moore?
yet, but I'm hoping that
Rich?
if they do, I told Rich, I said, what we got to do is we got to follow Big, into the witness protection program. You know, and
Yeah.
You can be the polar bear.
I'm gonna play one of the polar bears, but I'm gonna do him as Barry White.
yeah.
Hey, Mr. Big, we got to take care of some business.
Yeah, we gotta
yeah.
keep a low. We gotta keep a low profile. You know.
It's real
Bring the
hard.
skunk butt rug.
I got your skunk
need
butt
that.
rug right here.
We're gonna need
Yes.
that when we go on to the next town.
Something freaked me out about Zootopia because the whole thing was, oh yeah, so I got Mr. Big a skunk butt rug, and I'm like, skunks are people.
Except
this
that it's made
universe.
from the fur. When Nick Wilde says it, he goes, "It was made from the fur of a skunk's butt." So it was shaved.
Okay.
It's like a
Yeah.
butt trim.
It's only kind of creepy.
Yeah,
Like a
we
human
didn't,
hair
we
wig.
didn't skin.
Yeah, yeah.
Kind of creepy.
We didn't skin a living being for the butt.
That's good to know.
Yeah.
That's
Just
good to know. I
it's
was
just a
worried
shave and a
about it.
haircut, 2 bits.
Woven skunk butt. A lot of skunk butt hair.
There's the rug.
Oh.
Zootopia on home video.
Zootopia on home video,
June
June
7th.
7th.
That's
It's gonna
right.
be awesome.
Blu-ray, DVD, and what's that say on that sign? Digital. Digital.
Loaded with,
Yeah, he can't
loaded
read.
with special features. And
Can't
Easter
see
eggs,
that
by the way.
far. Yeah, it's
Loaded
loaded
with
with
them.
special
there's
features.
There's one special feature that talks about the turn that the movie take. It was movie taked. It was about one thing, and then
That movie took it.
took a slight left.
Yeah.
And it became another character's story. There's a whole feature on that that's pretty awesome.
It's really cool when a movie will cop to that too, because sometimes they try to like play it off like, nope, all planned from the beginning. But it's nice to see like
Great
the actual
morals,
behind the scenes.
Great morals, great caper. Great caper if you haven't seen the movie yet.
Yep.
It's a
Oh, it's
great
so good.
caper.
And great. I mean, it's a great science fiction movie.
Oh no, it's
Yeah.
yeah.
Good fantasy, yeah, and like you said, a good crime film. You know, nobody
Yeah.
sees the mystery. Nobody solves the mystery that I know of without seeing the picture all the way through. And yeah, just so much good stuff in there. Good dialogue.
Yeah.
Really
No,
terrific dialogue.
It's great.
I mean, you know, there's no level upon which this film isn't fantastic.
Yeah.
You know, it all works so well.
It
And
made
it's-
my face hurt from laughing,
and
much
it's-
like this interview.
Yeah.
and it's close to making
$1 billion.
And we're about that's about 9 million
9 million
away
short.
from $1 billion.
9 million, 7
$991 million.
That's the
As
coolest
of
thing
today.
ever.
You grossed more than Batman v Superman. You're a better
True.
film.
Well,
By the people who argue like, oh, it's all about the box office numbers. You're better than
There you
Batman
go.
v
There
Superman.
you
Well
go.
done.
That's it.
Yeah.
it's actually
Yeah, so suck it, Batman.
it's the
Yeah,
second
that's
it's
for
the
real.
second most successful original film
Take that battle
in
rag.
film history. In other words, this
Put it
film
places.
is not based on a book or a Broadway play or a legend or anything like the world that our writers and directors create. It's just from whole cloth,
Yeah.
concept to film, and it's the second most original film of all time,
Yeah, that's right.
most successful.
Yeah,
original
well,
film.
yeah. Like,
You got a skunk
like
bug rug.
Eraserhead is
Second
a
most
little bit more
original
out of
film
nowhere.
of all time.
Yeah.
The second most successful original film of all time.
What's the
based
first
on
one?
no other source. I wish I could remember what
Is
it
it
said.
Star Wars? The original Star Wars?
Avatar.
Oh.
Avatar.
He based that on the Smurfs. Okay, everybody. Thank you for watching Most Craved. Again, Zootopia on home video. Check it out. It's a really, really good movie. And thank you so much,
June
Maurice LaMarche
7th.
and John
June
DiMaggio.
7th. Thank you.
Coming to an internet near you for the download.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.